I am seeking a divorce. Emma Sullivan Cooper halted, her coffee cup suspended midair, as she gazed at her husband from across the immaculate kitchen island. Could you repeat that, please? Dr. Michael Cooper adjusted his tie with meticulous precision, his actions as deliberate and composed as ever. You understood me. I have reflected on this deeply. After 5 years of marriage, this is all you can express. Emma's hand quivered as she placed her cup on the table. Following all that we've experienced together. That is precisely the reason. 3 years of effort, Emma. 3 years of letdowns. The morning sun poured through the penthouse windows, a stark contrast to the shadows of the moment. Emma reminisced about their initial encounter at the annual fundraiser of Seattle Grace Hospital, where the talented young neurosurgeon captivated her with his charisma and drive. We haven't even completed the fertility testing, she argued. Dr. Chun mentioned that further tests aren't necessary to confirm what is already clear. Michael glanced at his Rolex, a movement that Emma had come to despise. By the time he reached my age, my father had welcomed 3 children into the world. His father possessed 4. So this is the essence of it all, the formidable Cooper medical dynasty. Michael's jaw clenched. I am scheduled for a morning craniotomy. The documents are set to arrive at your office today. Your timing is flawless as ever, Dr. Cooper. Emma's voice was laced with irony. Performing brain surgery immediately after breaking your wife's heart? I'm being realistic. It's clear to both of us that this isn't effective. He seized his briefcase. The apartment is yours to use until you discover another option. I will be residing at the Four Seasons. Michael. Emma's voice halted him just before he could step outside. Did you ever truly care for me? Or was I merely a piece in your ideal life puzzle? He hesitated, fingers resting on the doorknob. Affection alone cannot bridge the gaps created by deep-seated differences. Essential disparities? Emma let out a harsh, mirthless laugh. That's a rather detached way of expressing that I am unable to have children. You're a mental health professional, Emma. It's clear that there are moments when tough choices must be made for the sake of future prosperity. It seems to me that you lack courage. She rose, her shoulders held high. One must mature before taking on the responsibility of raising children. Michael's expression grew stern. I have reached a conclusion. The attorneys will take care of all the details. Once he departed, Emma lingered in the kitchen of their upscale apartment, enveloped by the symbols of their seemingly flawless existence. The wedding photos, the coordinated appliances, the calendar filled with upcoming fertility appointments. Everything they had created together was falling apart, and all due to her body not meeting his expectations. Her phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. A message from her sister, Rachel. How about lunch today? Emma responded with trembling fingers. Indeed, everything has crumbled. He is departing. Rachel's reply came swiftly, that insufferable egotist. I'm on my way to you now. Emma surveyed the kitchen, the scene of her final breakfast as Mrs. Cooper. 5 years prior, she was Emma Sullivan, an emerging talent in child psychology, self-reliant and resilient. Somewhere along the journey, she had become adrift in her quest to embody the ideal partner for the ideal physician. Once more, her phone vibrated. A message alert from Michael's attorney. She removed it without giving it a glance. Whatever lay ahead, she would confront it according to her own rules, not his. She approached the window, observing the rhythm of Seattle's morning traffic as it ebbed and flowed below her. Amidst the chaos of vehicles, Michael navigated his way to the hospital, likely envisioning his ideal future with a partner who could provide him with the heirs he yearned for. You're adrift, Dr. Cooper, she murmured to the glass. You find yourself adrift. Amid the familiar morning frenzy of Seattle Grace Hospital, Michael Cooper moved through the corridors, oblivious to the surrounding commotion. Nurses and residents moved aside for him as if he were a force of nature, sensing the tempest in his demeanor. Dr. Cooper, a youthful resident sprinted to close the gap. Have you received the scans for your craniotomy patient? Direct them to my office, Michael interrupted, maintaining his pace. Upon arriving at his office, he closed the door and paused for a moment, leaning against it. A line of framed photographs on his desk drew his attention. 3 generations of Cooper men in their white coats. His grandfather, Richard Cooper, a pioneer of neurosurgery in Seattle. His father, James Cooper, the current head of the hospital board, and himself treading the path that had been set before him since birth. The sound of his phone echoed through the room. In discussing legacy, his father's voice resonated with its familiar burden of expectation. Your mother mentioned that she spotted Emma at the grocery store yesterday, once more by herself. Michael pressed his fingers against the bridge of his nose. This morning, I initiated the process for divorce. A lengthy silence. Understood. You were correct. It's time we stop waiting, my boy. When I mentioned exploring other avenues, I was referring to fertility treatments, not separation. What's the purpose? Michael sank into his chair. 3 years of effort and yet no results. An heir is needed for the Cooper line. Do you really believe that ending a 5-year marriage is the solution? You were the one who consistently inquired about grandchildren at every family gathering. Please don't place this responsibility on my shoulders. Escaping isn't the method of the Coopers. Michael's laughter carried a tinge of bitterness. No, the Cooper approach demands nothing less than excellence in every endeavor. Flawless professions, ideal families, impeccable lives. You resemble your sister, Catherine. Catherine stepped out. Perhaps she possessed a greater intellect than any of us. His father's tone grew stern. Your sister left her medical residency behind to pursue a life as an artist in Paris. That's certainly not an example worth emulating. A sudden knock at the door broke the silence. Michael's resident returned, clutching the scan results. I must take my leave, Michael stated. Morning craniotomy. This conversation is far from over. Indeed we are. I have come to a conclusion. Michael ended the call abruptly, leaving his father without a chance to reply. The inhabitant stepped in with care. Dr. Cooper, Mrs. Henderson's scans. Michael concentrated on the visuals, setting aside any thoughts of Emma and his father. Here was an arena of mastery, where the meticulous choreography of blade and expertise unfolded, showcasing the sharp elegance of surgical precision. Reserve the operating room, he commanded. And please have Dr. Chun come to me, contacting the fertility clinic via phone. The inhabitant blinked in astonishment. Excuse me, is this not for a consultation? Please ensure that all my test results are transferred to my personal file. I never returned for them. But isn't there a part of you that craves to find out? What I desire, Michael stated with a chill in his voice, is to fulfill my responsibilities. Reserve the operating room. Once the resident departed, Michael found himself gazing at his family photos once more. 3 generations of exceptional surgeons gazed at him, their expectations pressing down on him as if they were a tangible force. His phone vibrated with a message from Caroline West, the newly appointed PR director at the hospital. Meeting over lunch to discuss the fundraiser for the pediatric wing. He responded swiftly, can't. Operation. Her reply was swift, dinner it is then. It seemed you might appreciate a listening presence. Michael paused for a moment, then consented. Anything was preferable to yet another night spent in solitude with his own reflections. He took hold of his scrubs and made his way to the OR, a place where clarity reigned and achievements could be quantified in straightforward, unambiguous terms. Keep it straightforward. There are no expectations from family. There have been no unsuccessful endeavors in the pursuit of creating life. In the meticulously ordered realm of surgery, he remained the undisputed ruler of his territory. Emma occupied her therapy office, observing 8-year-old Tyler as he constructed a castle with wooden blocks. Her notes rested neglected in her lap, while the echoes of that morning's clash with Michael relentlessly surfaced in her mind. At times, Tyler remarked thoughtfully, as he steadied another block, when unfortunate events occur, it isn't necessarily our doing. Emma's gaze shot upward. What leads you to that conclusion? That's what you mentioned to me last week, Tyler shrugged. I take responsibility for my parents' divorce. A tightness settled in her throat. Did you recall? Your expression seems a bit down today. Dr. Emma Tyler placed the last block atop his tower. Similar to the way my mother appeared. Just as Emma was about to reply, Her office phone rang. "Dr. Sullivan, your sister Rachel has arrived." "Thanks a lot. Tyler, will wrap things up in just 5 minutes. Sound good?" Once she finished with Tyler and sent him back to his parents, Emma discovered Rachel pacing in her waiting room. "I've got backup," Rachel declared, lifting a paper bag triumphantly. "Delicious chocolate croissants from your favorite French bakery." They made themselves comfortable in Emma's office, and Rachel revealed the pastries. "Reveal all the details." He didn't bother to wait for the test results. Emma delicately nibbled at her croissant. After 3 years of effort, he finally decided to walk away. Has he ever undergone testing himself? No. He declined, claimed there was absolutely nothing amiss with him. Emma's laughter echoed emptily. The esteemed Dr. Cooper, continuing the legacy of his father's abundant creativity. On the topic of the devil, has James reached out yet? There are 2 missed calls. I'm not prepared to confront the complexities of the Cooper family saga. Rachel extended her arm over the desk, taking hold of Emma's hand. "Come live with me, only until you find your way. My patients are my priority. I can't abandon them." Portland has affected children deeply as well. Rachel tightened her grip, and a dwindling number of memories of Michael Cooper. Emma's phone vibrated, signaling a message from Dr. Chen's office. "The results of the test are now available for your examination. Are you interested in setting up a consultation? What's the purpose at this moment?" Emma whispered, dismissing the notification. "Perhaps understanding would provide some clarity," Rachel proposed. "Assistance with what? My husband left me before we even had breakfast. Understanding won't alter that." "No, however." Rachel was cut off by yet another buzz emanating from Emma's phone. "Michael, your signature is required by the lawyers. I will be arriving at your office at 6. Emma responded with a message. "Just skip it. I will ensure that all documents are forwarded to your attorney." Rachel began. "I must focus on my tasks." Emma organized her documents with care. "Today I have 3 additional patients to attend to. Will you consider Portland? I assure you I will contemplate the idea of contemplating it." Once Rachel departed, Emma fixed her gaze on her schedule. 3 additional young souls navigating the complexities of trauma and loss. 3 additional opportunities to assist another in their healing, even as her own heart shattered. The phone on her desk buzzed once more. "Dr. Sullivan, your upcoming patient has arrived." Emma inhaled deeply, squared her shoulders, and set her pain aside. Her patients relied on Dr. Sullivan, the composed and reassuring child psychologist. Emma Cooper, the woman facing the disintegration of her marriage, would have to bide her time. "Send them in," she said, steeling herself to confront yet another child's suffering while grappling with her own heartache. "Clear," Michael announced, his hands unwavering as he maneuvered through the intricate neural tissue. "Draw in this area." The operating room lay in hushed stillness, punctuated only by the rhythmic beeping of monitors and the gentle clinking of surgical instruments. This was his refuge, a place where only the challenge at hand and his capacity to confront it mattered. "Dr. Cooper," his resident murmured. "Blood pressure is decreasing. I perceive it." He remained focused on the microscope, oblivious to the world around him. "Administer 10 units of ephedrine." The door to the operating room swung open. "Dr. Cooper." The voice of a caregiver. "Dr. Chun is on the first line. She insists it's urgent. I find myself amidst a craniotomy. Deliver a message." After hours had passed and the surgery was successfully completed, Michael was at the sink scrubbing his hands when the chief of surgery walked in. "What an absolutely stunning save in there, Cooper." Dr. Patterson observed him as he cleaned meticulously. "I heard about you and Emma. Would you like to discuss it?" "No topics to discuss." Michael wiped his hands dry. "Neat edges. The patient is stable." "That's not what I intended to convey." "I understand your point." Michael pivoted to confront his mentor. "Today I have 3 additional surgeries scheduled. Could we bypass the personal details?" Patterson lifted his hands in a gesture of capitulation. "Keep in mind that divorce can impact surgical performance. Allow yourself the time you require." "I do not." As Michael strolled through the hospital corridors, he overheard fragments of hushed conversations that fell silent in his presence. Word spread quickly within the walls of the hospital. Dr. Cooper, Caroline West emerged from the elevator. Concerning that dinner. Not this evening, Caroline. It's essential to nourish yourself. She matched his pace as she walked alongside him. You should discuss the campaign for the pediatric wing. The board meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. Michael came to a halt. All right, it is 8 o'clock. The new spot on First Street. I will secure the reservations. She examined his features intently. Your appearance suggests fatigue. I'm doing well. Deceiver. Her lips curved into a smile. It is now 8 o'clock. Please don't leave me waiting. In his office, Michael discovered a pile of messages waiting for his attention. 3 from his father. 2 from Dr. Chen's office. A message from his attorney. He brushed them aside and opened the file for his next patient. A rap upon his door. This time it's Dr. Chen herself. Michael, we must have a conversation. I have a lot on my plate right now. The results of your test. Forward those to my attorney. He kept his gaze down. I have clients. This holds significant value. Indeed, brain surgery is a complex and intricate procedure. At last, he locked his gaze with hers. Our time here has come to an end, Sarah. Once she departed, Michael fixated on his computer screen, yet his mind was elsewhere. The phrases melded into one another as Emma's voice resonated in his mind. Did you ever truly care for me? The device vibrated with a sudden alert. Caroline, the reservation has been adjusted to 7. An early night is in order. He consented, thankful for the diversion. Anything to escape returning to a vacant penthouse brimming with memories and lingering uncertainties. The remainder of his day unfolded in a whirlwind of procedures and discussions. Every procedure offers a delightful reprieve from the everyday world. In the operating room, he remained Dr. Michael Cooper, exceptional neurosurgeon. Out there, he was merely another struggling Cooper man, struggling to meet the expectations set by his legacy. Dr. Sarah Chan sat at her desk, gazing intently at 2 manila envelopes. One marked as Cooper, Michael. The other one is Sullivan Cooper, Emma. The revelation that might have transformed it all, hidden beneath layers of medical terminology and hormonal measurements. Her phone vibrated. Emma, I need to cancel my follow-up appointment. I appreciate all that you've done. Sarah reached for her office phone. Janet, please obtain Dr. Cooper's surgical schedule for me. He'll be in the operating room from 3 to 4, followed by consecutive consultations until 7. And what about Mrs. Cooper? Office of Ms. Sullivan. The receptionist informs that she is not accepting calls from the hospital. Sarah tapped her fingers rhythmically on her desk. 5 years of caring for them, observing their challenges. And now this unfolds. A gentle rap on her door. Michael's father, James Cooper. Dr. Chen. He shut the door softly, sealing off the world outside. It's important that we talk about my son's situation. I understand that it's not possible for you. Confidentiality between a doctor and patient. Indeed, he took a seat without an invitation. As a member of the hospital board and his father, I find myself troubled by the thought of him jeopardizing his marriage without fully understanding the situation. Do you have the results from him? Sarah brushed her fingers against the envelope. I certainly do. As you are aware, that topic is off-limits for discussion. James inclined his body, eager and attentive. Sarah, I've been acquainted with you since your time in residency. The young lad is heading down the wrong path. He should receive that message directly from you. He refuses to hear. James rose to his feet. However, he could be receptive to medical evidence. Once he departed, Sarah took a final look at Michael's envelope. The figures were unmistakable. Reduced sperm movement. Less than satisfactory count. Addressable with patience and appropriate measures. What are Emma's results? There are no notable concerns. The intercom emitted a sharp buzz. Dr. Cooper's door has just swung open. He is on the path to healing. With determination, Sarah seized Michael's envelope and made her way to the surgical floor. She discovered him at the nurse's station, crafting post-op orders. Michael, please don't keep your distance from me. I am currently engaged in my work. Your father just visited my office. That captured his interest. What did you say to him? Silence prevails. However, I must insist that you take a look at these results now. I must attend to my patient. Your spouse isn't the issue. With a swift motion, Sarah propelled the envelope toward him. Indeed, you are. Michael gazed at the envelope as if it were a creature ready to strike. This isn't something I can prioritize right now. Prioritize your relationship, as you may be jeopardizing your marriage due to misguided beliefs. You fail to grasp the situation. Clearly, there's a misunderstanding here. Sarah's voice elevated. This can be managed, Michael. Yet rather than confronting the situation, you choose to flee and place the blame on Emma. The nurses feigned indifference as Michael finally grasped the envelope. Read it, Sarah said. Consider whether your pride is truly worth the cost of 2 lives. She turned and left, leaving him clutching the reality he had long feared to confront. In her office, Emma's results lay dormant, a silent reminder of opportunities squandered by trepidation and arrogance. With determination, Sarah reached for her phone and dialed Emma's office once more. This time, she crafted a message. Your results fall within the normal range. Every single one. Reach out to me when you're prepared to have a conversation. The legal document reached Emma's office right at 2 p.m., brought in by a courier dressed in a sharp suit. Jenny, the receptionist, entered with an expression of regret on her face. Shall I discard it? Emma forced a faint smile. Alluring, yet I must decline. She grasped the envelope. Please refrain from forwarding any calls for the next hour. In solitude, Emma gazed at the documents. The petition for the dissolution of marriage was prominently displayed in bold letters. Underneath, Michael's signature, the recognizable flourish of a surgeon's hand. The screen of her phone illuminated, revealing a voicemail alert from Sarah Chun. Emma's finger lingered above the play button, hesitating before ultimately pulling back. No matter what the outcomes indicated, they held no significance any longer. A sudden knock broke the silence of her contemplation. Once more, it's Jenny. Dr. Sullivan, the mother of Tyler, has arrived ahead of schedule. She appears to be troubled. Bring her in. Lisa Parker stepped inside, her hands twisting nervously. I apologize for arriving without a prior appointment. What seems to be the issue? Is Tyler doing all right? He mentioned that you appeared a bit down today. Lisa took a seat. Then I learned from another parent about. I wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. Emma felt a constriction in her throat. I'm doing well. Absolutely not. Lisa inclined her body, eager and attentive. When Tom departed, you were present. I'd like to repay your kindness. Thank you for that, however. Yet there was nothing. We're heading out for some coffee. At this moment, 20 minutes later, they found themselves in the quaint cafe opposite Emma's office. Lisa swirled her latte thoughtfully, while Emma gazed into her untouched cup, lost in her own thoughts. Have you informed your patients? Lisa inquired. Not at this moment. I must determine the best way to manage the transitions. It seems you are departing. Emma raised her gaze. I'm uncertain. My sister is urging me to relocate to Portland. Fleeing won't solve anything. Lisa's tone was soothing. Believe me, I gave that a shot. It's not escaping if there's nothing to escape from. Emma took a moment to savor her coffee. Michael decided without pausing for the test results. That's quite chilly. That is Michael. Every detail must be flawless, including the intricacies of his wife's reproductive health. They lingered in quietude for a moment, observing the flow of life outside the window. Lisa spoke softly, mentioning that Tyler occasionally inquires about his father. I reveal the truth to him. Adults are not infallible. They can err and, at times, cause pain to those they hold dear. Is that really what this is? An error? Only Michael is aware of that. Lisa glanced at her watch. It's time for me to return to my tasks. However, Emma, do not allow his decisions to shape who you are. Once Lisa departed, Emma made her way back to her office, weaving through the bustling afternoon throngs. The divorce papers sat on her desk, ominous and poised, like a ticking bomb ready to explode. Her phone vibrated once more, yet another notification from Sarah Chun. This time, Emma pressed delete with unwavering resolve. Certain truths are best kept in the shadows. She grasped her pen, her hand poised delicately above the signature line. A single mark on paper to conclude half a decade of union. A single signature to reclaim the identity of Emma Sullivan once more. The pen met the paper, and in that moment, Emma sensed a shift within her. A fracture that mended, emerging more resilient yet transformed. Similar to a fracture that mends over time, she pondered. Always evolving, yet sturdy enough to serve as a foundation. This isn't running away, Emma told Rachel as they drove north on I-5. The windshield wipers battling the relentless drizzle. It's a calculated withdrawal. Whatever brings you peace as you drift off to sleep. Rachel shifted her lane. Although you haven't engaged in that activity recently. The U-Haul trailing behind held the remnants of Emma's existence. Her clothes, books, patient files, and meticulously wrapped photo albums that she had yet to summon the courage to unveil. Emma declared that the practice was calling. They are thrilled to welcome me aboard next week. Absolutely, they are. You are an exceptional child psychologist in Seattle. It was unparalleled in Seattle. Rachel cast a glance her way. You're aware of what I'm getting at. As they drove by the Welcome to Portland sign, Emma's phone suddenly illuminated. Once more, it's Michael's attorney. She chose not to answer the call. Hasn't signed the papers yet? Rachel inquired. Absolutely not. 3 weeks and still going strong. Shall I give him a call? I have a collection of carefully selected phrases ready to go. Allow the legal experts to take care of it. Emma observed the raindrops as they hurriedly cascaded down the windowpane. I simply wish for it to come to an end. They arrived at Emma's new apartment building in the Pearl District, sleek and unremarkable. A stark contrast to the upscale high-rise she had once shared with Michael. Home, sweet home, Rachel declared. The apartment, though compact, radiated warmth and light, featuring elegant hardwood floors and charming exposed brick walls. Emma's footsteps reverberated through the vacant expanse. The furniture arrives tomorrow, Rachel said, placing a box on the floor. Feel free to stay over at my place tonight. Negative. I possess an air mattress. It's time for me to begin the process of getting comfortable. I'm doing well. Is that so? Rachel appeared skeptical. Shall we have dinner later? The Thai restaurant I mentioned to you? Let's reschedule. I wish to organize my office belongings. I will begin seeing patients on Monday. Once Rachel departed, Emma found herself perched on her air mattress, encircled by boxes marked with Jenny's tidy script, filled with office supplies. Files pertaining to patients. Private. Her phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. Once more, it's Sarah Chin. Kindly give me a call. The outcomes hold significant value. Emma began to type. Thank you, but I've relocated to Portland. Kindly send any medical records to. It was removed. Some bridges are best left in ashes. A message from Michael surfaced. The attorney mentioned that you have relocated. It's time for a conversation. Emma responded with a message. There's really nothing to discuss. Please sign the documents. She powered down her phone and lifted the lid of the box labeled office. Inside, cocooned in bubble wrap, lay her diploma. Dr. Emma Sullivan, Ph.D. Not Cooper. She never truly felt like Cooper, if she were to be honest. The rain intensified outside, a rhythmic tapping on her new windows. The rain in Portland, she mused, distinct from the rain in Seattle. Renewing downpour, she placed her diploma on the empty wall, the initial symbol of her new journey. By Monday, she would acquire a new office, new clients, fresh schedule. The former Emma could have faltered beneath the burden of beginning anew. Yet, Emma had passed away on the very morning her husband prioritized his legacy above their love. Emma had tasks to complete. The atmosphere in the boardroom at Seattle Grace grew still as Michael concluded his presentation. 12 pairs of eyes scrutinized him, among them his father's discerning stare from the head of the table. Michael concluded that the new surgical wing would allow for a 40% increase in neurosurgical capacity. Dr. Patterson was the first to speak. Remarkable figures, Cooper. However, the timing is impeccable, Caroline West interjected seamlessly. Seattle Grace requires this expansion to maintain its competitive edge. Michael locked eyes with her, a silent expression of gratitude for the encouragement she offered. 3 months of collaborating with her on this proposal had revealed to him the importance of an effective PR director. The expense is considerable, James Cooper remarked, rearranging the documents in front of him. The returns will be higher, Michael countered. With Dr. Patterson's retirement approaching next month, the new wing will pave the way for his successor. As the topic of succession arose, his father interjected. The board is set to cast their votes on the new chief of neurosurgery today. Palpable tension filled the room. It was clear to all that Michael was the leading candidate, yet the recent developments in Dr. Cooper's personal life should not influence the voting process. My personal situation doesn't matter, Michael interrupted decisively. My surgical history is a testament to my expertise. James Cooper observed his son intently. The rate of complications following surgery has increased by 12% over the past month. While it remains significantly lower than the national average, it falls short of Cooper's expectations. The words lingered in the atmosphere, heavy with consequence. Michael sensed his jaw tighten. Everyone supports Dr. Michael Cooper as the new head of neurosurgery. Dr. Patterson initiated the voting process. Hands lifted high around the table. Michael tallied 8, 9, 10. The motion has been approved, as announced by Patterson. Well done, Dr. Cooper. The gathering concluded with warm handshakes and heartfelt congratulations. Caroline locked eyes with him and silently gestured. Dinner. Last to approach was his father. Please don't let me regret this decision. When have I ever let you down? Michael's voice oozed with irony. The documents for your divorce remain without a signature. That's intimate. This hospital operates on a strictly professional basis. James held onto his son's shoulder firmly. Make the necessary adjustments. By any means necessary. In the solitude of his office, Michael gazed at the divorce papers tucked away in his desk drawer. Emma's signature stood out boldly on the pristine paper, while his line remained untouched. The phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. Caroline, enjoying the festivities at Canlis, 8 p.m. He consented, embracing the diversion. The most youthful chief of neurosurgery ever recorded in the hospital's history. It ought to resonate with a sense of victory. Instead, he sensed the burden of expectations bearing down more heavily than ever before. Standards of excellence, a legacy of achievement, a pursuit of perfection. Sarah Chen's test results lingered in another drawer, untouched. Certain realities are best concealed beneath the weight of success and aspiration. Once more, his phone vibrated, signaling a message from Emma. Please sign the documents. Michael gently shut the drawer. This evening was dedicated to honoring achievements, rather than fixating on setbacks. He had accomplished all his dreams, hadn't he? Emma found herself in Dr. Miranda Foster's office, her hands nervously entwined in her lap. The fertility specialist in Portland examined her file, her lips pressed together in concentration. Dr. Foster remarked that your earlier results from Seattle appear promising. Have you thought about using an anonymous donor for insemination? That's the reason for my presence, Emma responded. A mother embracing the journey of parenthood on her own terms. Dr. Foster raised his gaze. It's increasingly prevalent. For 3 years, I allowed another person to dictate the narrative of my fertility journey. Emma squared her shoulders. I'm prepared to craft my own. Dr. Foster gave a thoughtful nod. Let's discuss possibilities. An hour later, Emma found herself in her car, gripping a folder filled with donor profiles. 3 missed calls from Rachel appeared on her phone. Where might you be? Rachel insisted as soon as Emma returned the call. You skipped lunch and your doctor's appointment. Would you be able to come over this evening? Are you feeling unwell? I have something important to share with you. Rachel showed up with a bottle of wine and some delicious Thai cuisine. Emma accepted the food but declined the wine. All right, let's hear it, Rachel said, making herself comfortable on Emma's new couch. Your behavior is quite unusual. Emma passed her the folder. Rachel's eyes grew large as she absorbed the words on the page. Are you kidding me? I've reached my limit of waiting for others to provide what I desire. But a baby by themselves? Rachel paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. Every day, Emma shares her insights with single parents. Powerful ones. Joyful moments. That's different, Rachel remarked, placing the folder on the table. Since you are my younger sister, I feel concerned. I don't need to worry. I require assistance. How is your practice going? You have recently begun your journey here. I have already spoken with the partners. They provide encouragement. Emma grasped her sister's hand. I have never felt such certainty before. Rachel remained silent for an extended period. Is Michael aware? Michael forfeited his right to any knowledge the moment he chose to leave. He has yet to put his signature down. No, but I refuse to wait any longer. Emma grasped her sister's hand tightly. I am prioritizing my own well-being, my aspirations, and my loved ones. Rachel enveloped her in a warm embrace. Then I stand by you completely. Later, in the solitude of her apartment, Emma revisited the donor profiles, examining the images and medical histories of men who could assist her in building the family she had always dreamed of. Her phone illuminated, a message from Michael's attorney, a request for a meeting to go over the terms. Emma replied there was nothing to talk about, documents in their current form. She redirected her focus to the profiles, exploring the myriad of possibilities, choices, and futures that lay within her grasp. Tomorrow she would reach out to Dr. Foster. Tomorrow she would embark on the journey toward her new life. This evening, she permitted herself to envision a family founded on affection instead of duty. A child cherished for their own essence, rather than the burdens of a lineage's aspirations. The rain in Portland drummed softly on her windows, a soothing reminder that nourishment was essential for new life to flourish. Two of a kind. Emma held onto the ultrasound monitor tightly. Do you really think so? Dr. Foster gestured towards the screen. Two rhythmic pulses. Powerful ones. Emma reclined on the exam table, her gaze fixed on the delicate little flutters. After 6 long months of effort, the IVF had finally succeeded. Exceeded expectations. Take your time, Dr. Foster remarked, quietly exiting the room. Emma extended her trembling hands toward her phone. Rachel, do you have a moment to chat? What seems to be the issue? Has it encountered another setback? Negative. Emma's voice trembled. It was successful. Are there twins? Rachel's piercing cry caused Emma to quickly remove the phone from her ear. I will be arriving shortly. Stay right where you are. I remain at the clinic. Then I shall make my way there. Do not even think about walking away. Emma pressed her finger against the screen, where 2 lives throbbed in shades of gray. Their offspring. Only hers. Rachel strode in 20 minutes later, her chef's apron still draped around her. Reveal it to me. Dr. Foster arrived with printouts in hand and a pile of information, prepared to discuss the details of logistics. The following hour unfolded in a whirlwind of medical jargon, suggestions, and cautions. Pregnancy with significant risks, increased oversight, potential need for bed rest. Your practice offers a commendable maternity leave policy. Dr. Foster inquired. Emma gave a slight nod. Half a year's salary. I have already had a conversation with them. Is there a system in place for support? She has me, Rachel declared with conviction. Later, in Emma's apartment, Rachel laid the ultrasound photos out on the coffee table. They resemble beans, she remarked. Absolutely flawless beans, Emma concurred. My beans. Have you considered names? Sophie and Lily, Emma said. Those names would have brought her so much joy. Rachel's voice took on a gentle quality. She would be incredibly proud of you. Emma's phone vibrated. A message from Michael's attorney once more. The last warning before legal action. She removed it without delving deeper. Allow them to bring it before the court. Nothing could diminish her happiness. Today, the nursery requires a pair of everything, Rachel reflected. It's great that you secured the 2-bedroom apartment. It's fortunate that my sister channels her excitement into baking when she's feeling stressed. Emma gently caressed her smooth, flat stomach. These little ones are going to require plenty of Aunt Rachel's delicious croissants. Are you already in the midst of planning that first birthday cake? Rachel embraced her sister warmly. You will excel at this. That evening, Emma reclined in bed, her hands gently placed on her abdomen. Two of a kind, a family forming within her, waiting to blossom. Her phone illuminated for a final moment. Michael, I heard you're still in Portland. It's time for a conversation. Emma switched off her phone. She had more pressing matters to attend to now. 2 heartbeats, 2 futures, 2 reasons to appreciate his departure. Occasionally, the most disappointing conclusions pave the way for the most promising new starts. Caroline, the quarterly reports are needed. Michael came to an abrupt halt. Caroline West stood in his office, clutching a well-known manila envelope. Discovered this while sorting through materials for the board review. She raised Dr. Chen's envelope with a sense of purpose. It remained unopened. That information is confidential. It slipped out from your old case files. She set it down on his desk, accompanied by these. She let a pile of papers fall beside it, denials of insurance claims for fertility treatments. Emma's mark on a multitude of requests. 3 years of recorded hardship. Those are private medical documents. Those are evidence that you chose to escape rather than confront reality. Caroline's voice cut through the air with precision. A leading figure in the field of neurosurgery. Michael sank into his chair with a weighty sigh. You simply don't grasp it. I grasp a great deal. Yesterday, your father confronted me, inquiring about the holdup in finalizing your divorce. He should keep his distance from my private affairs. Keep in mind, there's nothing personal in this hospital. Caroline imitated James Cooper's style. Your expressions. She sat delicately on the edge of his desk. Examine the findings, Michael. It holds no significance now. She has moved to Portland, creating a new life independent of you. Caroline wrapped her fingers against the envelope. Isn't it worth considering whether you jeopardized your marriage in vain? Michael gazed intently at the envelope. 3 months of evasion. For 3 months, he immersed himself in his work, focused on the planning of the new wing, and engaged in occasional dinners with Caroline that led nowhere. As they both understood, he wasn't prepared for anything more. What if, he cleared his throat, what if it conveys what I believe it conveys? Are you saying that you are the reason for not having children? Caroline's voice took on a gentle quality. Then you handle it, similar to a physician. As the leading expert in neurosurgery, that's exactly what you're meant to embody. She made her way to the door. Take a look at it. Perhaps it's time to step out from the shadows of your father's legacy and begin crafting your own path. Isolated. Michael grasped the envelope. Within the confines of the room, figures and clinical jargon leaped forth, demanding attention. Reduced movement. Count is below average. Addressable with appropriate measures. The device vibrated in his pocket. His father. The date for the divorce proceedings has been scheduled in court. Please make the necessary corrections. Michael's grip on the test results grew firmer. For all this time, he placed the blame on Emma. For all this time, he had been mistaken. He extended his hand toward his phone, but hesitated. What might he have to express? I regret the way I contributed to the end of our marriage, allowing my pride to overshadow my ability to confront my own shortcomings. A faint buzz emanated from the intercom. Dr. Cooper, the craniotomy scheduled for 3 o'clock is ready for you. Michael adjusted his coat, carefully placing the results back into their envelope. Prioritize surgery. Eventually, the truth will emerge. Always postponed. Michael gazed at his reflection in the surgical scrub room, recognizing his father's features mirrored in his own face. The same resolute jaw. The identical unyielding stare. Is Dr. Cooper available? A nurse peeked in. Your father is in your office. States that it's urgent. I am getting ready for surgery. He stated, and I quote, inform him that it's regarding Emma Sullivan. Michael's hands paused beneath the surface of the water. What is her story? Simply urgent. In his office, James Cooper gazed out the window, his hands resting thoughtfully behind him. The Portland Children's Hospital reached out. Michael wiped his hands dry. What would motivate them to do that? She is being recruited, presenting her expertise in pediatric psychology. His father pivoted. Have you heard? She has published 3 papers since relocating there. I did not. While you've been concealing yourself with procedures, she's been crafting a name for herself. James flung a journal onto the desk. The cover features Emma's name prominently. The board took note. Could you clarify what you mean? Portland is in the process of constructing a new trauma center. They are looking for her to lead the child psychology department. James took a seat. Seattle Grace was contemplating the same proposal. Michael reached for the journal. She would not return. Absolutely not, she wouldn't. James observed his son intently. You are transforming into my reflection, Michael. Isn't that what you were hoping for? I hoped for your success. Not alone. James rose to his feet. I once drove your mother away. Nearly lost all that was truly significant. This stands apart. Could it be? James made his way to the door. Peruse her manuscript. Then gaze into the mirror and confess that you don't see my deepest flaws reflected in your eyes. Once his father departed, Michael began to peruse the journal. Emma's exploration of childhood resilience following parental abandonment. Stories of children reconstructing their lives following loss. The screen of his phone illuminated. Caroline, shall we have dinner tonight? He politely refused. After a long stretch of time, he finally found something of greater significance to immerse himself in. Emma's words danced across the pages. Expert yet infused with the familiarity and kindness he recalled from their beginnings. When did he cease to perceive that warmth? When did he become so consumed by the idea of legacy that he lost sight of love? A sudden buzz emanated from the intercom. Dr. Cooper, the operating room is ready for you. Michael closed the journal with a sense of finality. Yet another surgery. A fresh getaway. Yet the echoes of his father's words lingered. You are transforming into my essence. In the mirror of the scrub room, it became unmistakably evident to him now. The identical errors, the identical sense of pride, the identical solitude. Emma fine-tuned her presentation slides for the final time. The Seattle Medical Psychology Conference. Of all the venues, this was the one she had to present at. Is this Dr. Sullivan? A conference organizer made contact. You have 5 minutes until you're up. Is that you, Anne? Dr. Cooper is present among the audience. Emma paused, her fingers hovering above the keys of her laptop. Which Dr. Cooper are you referring to? Indeed, both. And the newly appointed director of public relations. Flawless. Her whole past laid out in orderly lines, eager to hear her share stories of childhood struggles and strength. Rachel tightened her grip on her arm. Would you like me to craft a diversion? I might activate the fire alarm. This is something I can manage. Emma adjusted her blazer, carefully steering clear of her now visible pregnancy bump. Half a year in, unavoidable to conceal, the opening commenced. Introducing our next speaker, Dr. Emma Sullivan, hailing from Portland Children's Hospital. Emma approached the podium, advancing to her initial slide with a click. Her gaze remained averted from the audience. Instead, she dedicated her attention to her research. Kids rising above the pain of being left behind. Families in the process of reconstruction. The power that emerges from beginning anew. Inquiries arose once she concluded her remarks. A voice that felt like home echoed from the rear. Dr. Sullivan, could you elaborate on how your findings relate to situations where parental abandonment is linked to medical challenges? Michael. Naturally, he would pose that question. The reason for abandonment is of lesser importance than how one reacts to it. Emma replied with calm assurance. Kids show an incredible ability to adjust when they receive the right guidance and a solid foundation. Their gazes locked from opposite ends of the auditorium. He appeared weary, somehow more aged. Caroline West positioned herself next to him, diligently jotting down notes. Following the session, Emma hurriedly collected her materials, though not with the swiftness she intended. Emma. She pivoted. Michael lingered, his surgical coat draping awkwardly around him, an air of discomfort evident in his stance. "Well done on the research," he remarked with a hint of formality. "Thanks a lot." She glided toward the door. He glanced down, his gaze settling on her midsection. "Refrain." Emma took a step back. "Your ability to comment on my life has been revoked." I reviewed the test results. "Long overdue." Rachel emerged beside her. "Is everything all right here?" "All right." Emma gently placed her hand on her sister's arm. "Are we heading out?" As they strolled away, her ears caught the sound of James Cooper's voice. "Allow her to leave, my boy. Certain errors are beyond repair." In the hotel lobby, Emma rested against the wall, her hands cradling her bump with care. "Are you all right?" Rachel inquired. "Superior to just fine." Emma sensed the gentle movements of her little ones. "I find myself precisely in the right place." Her phone vibrated with a sudden alert. Children's Hospital in Portland. Concerning the offer for the position of department head. Emma beamed. Some conclusions were truly new starts in disguise. Michael found himself in solitude within his office, dressed in his conference attire, fixated on Emma's research paper. The intercom emitted a low buzz. "Dr. Cooper, your dad." "Not at this moment." He suggests tuning into the hospital news channel. Details regarding the Portland Children's Hospital. Michael switched on the television mounted on the wall. A media briefing. Emma standing confidently at a podium. "With this facility, we will be equipped to offer extensive psychological support to children and families facing crises," she mentioned. The lens retreated, announcing her pregnancy. As Michael's grip faltered, the coffee cup tumbled from his hand, crashing to the floor in a cascade of shards. "Were you unaware?" Caroline lingered in the threshold, a figure poised in the frame of the door. "Twins," he uttered in a daze. "She is expecting twins. In vitro fertilization, I take it?" Caroline stepped inside, gently shutting the door behind her. Considering the circumstances, she undertook it by herself. "No, Michael, that was your doing. You accomplished it by yourself." He switched off the television, yet the image lingered vividly in his thoughts. Emma, radiant and self-assured, crafting a new existence while he had been concealed within the sterile confines of operating rooms. Caroline mentioned softly that the board meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. "Portland is extending a partnership in the trauma center, fulfilling your father's wishes." Seattle Grace engaged. "Emma's program is revolutionary." Michael let out a harsh laugh. "So I'll be collaborating with my former spouse? Should she consent? This is her endeavor." Caroline placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "Perhaps the moment has come to confront all that you've been avoiding." Once she departed, Michael retrieved his phone. The divorce papers lay untouched in his desk drawer. He picked up the phone and called Sarachin. At last, she responded. "I seek comprehensive information regarding my condition and the available treatment options." "What prompts this moment?" "Because I shattered something invaluable driven by my own fears." He observed the replay of Emma's press conference in silence. "I must overcome my fears. Please visit my office tomorrow." Sarah's voice took on a gentle quality. "There's still time to seek assistance, Michael. Regarding fertility, perhaps." He reached out to the TV screen, where Emma appeared, her hand resting gently on her pregnant belly. "However, for all other matters, it's important to take it one step at a time, Dr. Cooper. Progress unfolds gradually." Caroline discovered Michael in the hospital chapel, clad in the same surgical scrubs from the day before. "You missed the board meeting," she remarked, taking a seat next to him. "How did it turn out?" "The partnership with Portland has been approved." She offered him a steaming cup of coffee. "Your father cast his vote in favor." "Naturally, he did. Everything for the hospital's standing." In truth, Caroline paused for a moment. He declared that it was time for the Cooper men to cease allowing their pride to ruin their families. Michael gazed at his untouched coffee, lost in thought. "I viewed her ultrasound images." "Excuse me?" The organizer of the conference forgot her folder containing the medical presentation. It was intertwined with her slides. He retrieved his phone, presenting Caroline with the image. "Twin daughters, Michael." She has chosen the names Sophie and Lily. His voice trembled. I noticed it inscribed in the margin. Caroline grasped the phone with care. It's important that you let her know you came across these. What is the reason behind this? Is that so she can despise me even more? It's time to embrace honesty, both with her and within yourself. Caroline rose to her feet. I reached out to Dr. Chen. She awaits your arrival. I am undergoing surgeries. Absolutely not. Your schedule has been cleared. She lifted him up. It's time to stop fleeing. In Dr. Chen's office, Michael confronted the undeniable reality at last. Options for treatment, rates of success, all the things he had been too fearful to confront. It's within reach, Sarah determined. Through dedication and perseverance. Just like all the other things I've steered clear of, Michael remarked. His phone vibrated. A notification from Emma. Quarterly meetings are essential for the Portland partnership. My assistant will handle the coordination. With a keen eye for detail, Sarah observed. Remote, Michael amended. Secure. She is guarding herself against me. He reflected on the ultrasound images, two small lives that might have woven into his narrative, had he not been so entangled in the Cooper legacy. He instructed Sarah to begin the treatment. Not suitable for Emma. Not for my dad. For my own sake. The rain in Seattle mirrored his somber feelings. Yet, for the first time in months, he faced it head-on. At times, the reality we face can be the most challenging remedy to accept. The conference room at Portland Children's Hospital seemed inadequate for the weight of the tension it held. Emma positioned herself at one end of the table. Michael on the opposite side. Department heads and board members occupied the space in between. The merging of Seattle Grace's neurosurgery department with our trauma center became a mere hum in the background as Emma observed Michael diligently taking notes. He appeared transformed. More slender. There was more gray at his temples than she recalled. Dr. Sullivan, what are your insights regarding the psychological assessment protocol? Emma adjusted her posture. Indeed, thorough assessments will be necessary for every surgical case concerning pediatric patients. From the doorway, James Cooper announced that Dr. Cooper would personally oversee the neurosurgical aspects. Emma was completely unaware of his arrival. She stated with conviction, "Quarterly reviews. My department operates independently." Naturally, Michael expressed himself for the first time. The reputation of your program is self-evident. Following the meeting, Emma hurriedly collected her papers, but Michael intercepted her at the elevator. Emma, hold on. Refrain. I viewed the ultrasound images. During the conference, she stood still. That was confidential. I understand. I apologize. He took a step back. They are truly stunning. They don't belong to you. I'm aware of that as well. He swept his fingers through his hair. I am currently undergoing treatment. In the company of Dr. Chen. Emma pressed the elevator button once more. That's quite favorable. To you. I'm sharing this not to seek a solution. I wanted to share that I'm finally confronting my challenges. The elevator has finally made its arrival. Emma entered the room. Sophie and Lily, he murmured gently. Excellent names. The doors shut abruptly, leaving him standing there in silence. Emma rested against the wall, her hands cradling her belly as the twins danced energetically within her. Rachel's phone buzzed. How did it turn out? Just like surgery, Emma replied. Precise edges. Little to no bleeding. At times, the sharpest cuts resulted in the most profound wounds. The Boston Medical Conference thrummed with energy. Michael fine-tuned his presentation notes, casting a quick look at the audience as they entered for his lecture on the latest advancements in pediatric neurosurgery. A recognizable laugh drew his focus toward the entrance. Emma assisted the two little girls as they removed their coats. Two girls with lively brown curls and identical smiles. A man approached them, introducing himself as James Martinez, the husband of Emma. Michael had come across their wedding announcement 2 years prior in the medical journal. Are you prepared, Dr. Cooper? The conference organizer gently placed a hand on his arm. Indeed. He averted his gaze from the scene by the door, directing his attention to the presentation screen. Later, at the reception, He observed from a distance as Emma received an award for her contributions to childhood trauma therapy. The twins joined James, their hands coming together in a joyful rhythm as they cheered for their mother. His phone vibrated, displaying the name Sarah Chun. The test results appear to be quite promising. The third round of treatment is demonstrating encouraging results. Beside him, Caroline tightened her grip on his hand. They began their romantic journey 6 months ago. As years of friendship blossomed into something deeper, she inquired about leaving early. Negative. Michael observed Emma embrace her daughters. This was something I had to witness. What is there to see? Some things shatter for a purpose. He offered a warm smile to Caroline. Occasionally, a misguided journey can guide you to the correct destination. From across the room, Emma's gaze met his. She gave a brief nod, a subtle recognition shared among peers. Nothing else. Nothing short of that. Sufficed. Michael grasped Caroline's hand tightly and pivoted towards the door. Behind him, the sound of the twins' laughter intertwined with the murmur of the crowd, a poignant reminder that life continued its relentless march, regardless of one's consent.